It's the dog days of summer. The beer is cold, the apple pie is hot, the fireworks are going off, and here in America, we're celebrating our favorite pastime, waiting for football to start. This week is a fun puzzle. I learned a lot, not only about the subject, but about myself. Welcome to Janky Puzzles. We're going to have a good time today. Like I said, it's the summertime in America. It is hot, hot, hot. And traditionally, baseball is synonymous with America, even if, in my opinion, and this is completely anecdotal, it hasn't been the major focus for overall. I personally think that football overshadows it, but that's just my opinion, and what the heck do I know? So this puzzle was a little outside of my comfort zone this week. Building the puzzle itself was actually really easy, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to do that, but that's later on. So this was a baseball one. I'm just going to get into it and show you the box first. So I found this at one of our local thrift stores. This is the Football Trivia from 1980. It is a Nordevco brand puzzle. A lot of fun. It says right on it, it's a game, it's a puzzle, it's a doubleheader. I didn't know what that meant, but that's all right. So this one was kind of cool. It's busy. There's a lot going on. It actually reminds me of a lot of White Mountain puzzles that I do not have close by. But it did remind me of a White Mountain puzzle. White Mountains typically will have all of the same thing on them. I did one recently with my brother, actually, that was popcorn brands. I've got a Canadian one over there, up here somewhere, that's Canadian things. They're very, very common. And this one was no different. Lots of really cool things. And what I liked about it was when I first saw it, it's like, oh, yes, this is going to be fun to talk about. Because, there's just a lot of cool information there. I try to find a theme or something to talk about with these puzzles. I don't like to just like, okay, here's a puzzle, here's it. Like, they tell stories. They have something to say. Even if it is just sailboats or a barn, like it has something to say, and that's what I love about it. And so when I first saw this, it spoke to me because, for one, it is kind of cool. It's a trivia game. People who are really into baseball would know these things, and it was really cool when I looked inside. And I'm going to open this box here before I show you the puzzle. There is a cheat sheet map, as you could see there, numbered, and it's the outline of all the cards on the puzzle. Kind of cool. And then in this box was questions. 256 questions, to be exact. Trivia questions. Now, obviously, it's a lot of questions, and it'll ask you a question, and then it'll give you a grid number on that other sheet so you can find it, and you could actually see a picture of who they're talking about. Like, just grabbing one out of here. What Brooklyn Dodger outfielder was nicknamed the Reading Rifle? I don't know. However, the card is on the puzzle, and that obviously was a real person. Now, on the box, it says that in here is the grid, the questions, and a sealed envelope with the answers on it. Okay? The only thing that was in this box when I got it, again, I got it secondhand, like most of my puzzles, was the grid, the questions. Most of them were still in the bag. And then the bottom was a piece of paper. And I thought, that when I saw it, I was like, oh, that must be the envelope with the questions. Nope. What this is instructions on how to use a jigsaw roll-up. They make puzzle fabric that you could build a puzzle on and then roll it up. I have never used one. I don't know if I will ever use one, but hey, maybe I will. Say something in the bottom. But yeah, so if you know what so there was no answer in this. That's what it said on the back. Gave the instructions on how to do that, but there was nothing there. So, like I mentioned, the reading rifle, if you know who that is, put in the comments. Or if you've ever used a jigsaw puzzle map or roll up, go ahead and let me know. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you the puzzle. And I got something else that I learned about myself. So, the cool thing about this puzzle is this is what I and a couple other people refer to as placemat puzzles, because you can pick them up like a placemat. This one is pretty sturdy. Like if I shake it too much, it will fall apart. But like it is not by any stretch of the imagination. Just flatten all that down for you. It's not fragile by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I've had this one done for a while and it's just been moved from space to space. So here it is, the Nordevco Baseball Trivia Puzzle from 1980 or 79. 100 years of baseball cards on here, and everybody who is anybody is on here. Mickey Mantle, Ty Cobb is on here. WWE Hall of Famer Pete Rose is on here. There's one guy up here, and I'll get a closer picture. Look, I thought was the Pope, but it's like, hey, Pope can watch a baseball game. The current Pope definitely has seen his share of baseball games. Yeah, I thought this was really, really fun. Anecdotally, right here, so Reggie Jackson, my one and only baseball game that I was ever taken to when I was a kid. I was probably 5, 6, 7 years old, little guy. And my uncle and my dad took me to the base. My aunt was there too. Took me to see the Angels when Reggie Jackson was playing, and our whole section would always shout Reggie, Reggie. And the thing I remember most about that game is we were sitting really, really high in the stands, and being a little grubby kid, I was more worried about getting something to eat than actually watching the game. I remember getting in trouble later when my dad told my mom that, yeah, the baseball game was fun until the food ran out, because every single vendor that came past, I would hound my dad to get me something to eat, whether it was popcorn or soda or snacks of some kind. But that's the thing I most remember of that was hounding my dad for snacks. So this puzzle is really, really cool. And my initial thought of this was, I'm going to find some cool players on here and do a deep dive into their life. And I found a couple that I kind of thought was interesting. There was a guy here that I thought was interesting named Tom Zachary, just because his picture right here, and I'll show a picture of it, was probably the most scariest, most intimidating picture I'd ever seen. From what I understand, he threw Babe Ruth's 60th home run. He was the pitcher for them. A couple other people, Raleigh Fingers is on here. Like I said, Mickey Mantle, and everybody knows the stories of baseball cards, and that most of these cards that are highly sought after now ended up in. That's always the big thing, that they're always ended up being pinned to bicycle spokes and just tossed around. But yeah, a lot of these are very, very sought after. And I was looking at them, just some of them are just very interesting. Some of them have cartoon bodies with the people's heads on them. Now, to do a puzzle like this, where it's really busy and there's a lot going on, the interesting thing about it though is every piece is very, very unique. It's not like a single it's not like a single color picture. It's not like a gradient. It's not like a nature puzzle where half the puzzle is trees and the other half is ground or mountains or sky. Every piece is more or less its own thing. You can find it in relation to the picture very easily. In fact, building this didn't take me very long at all, because all you have to do, and here's a tip, all right, here's a trick to solve a puzzle like this, especially one with lots of different colors, but a lot of unique colors, is, for one, kind of put together the things that you know right away. Like on this one has some mitts and some baseballs, so you can separate those out. Now, as you're going, you don't even have to do the border at all. All you have to do is get your space that you're going to build your puzzle on. And then as you go through the box, look at whether it's a side of a face or, the bottom half, or anything on there that kind of something is familiar looking right away, specifically like a face. And all you have to do is just go to the box, find it, and then on your building space, just set it there. That's all you have to do, is just kind of set it around the area where it might go. Okay, and then you grab the next piece, find it on the box, and kind of set it in the area of where it goes. As you build, they will organically connect together, and the picture will come. The whole puzzle will almost solve itself. As you're building on all these little images will connect to one to the other like a virus, and the whole thing will be done. This took me less than 2 hours when I sat down and really worked on it. We have some couple piece of crap cats. I love them, but they're rambunctious little cats, so it made it difficult to build right away. But that is the key to ones like this. So if you are doing those really busy White Mountain ones, if you just take a step back and look at what you're doing, you don't have to find every little piece in a row. And even with this one here that has a traditional, up and down piece shape, they're all just the standard puzzle that you've seen. Just building it that way can go super, super fast. So this is this. Now, as I'm building this puzzle, something came to me that on the surface, you ever have those like epiphanies to where you're almost ashamed that came to you, and then like, let me tell you what I'm talking about here. As I'm building these cards, this picture of baseball cards, I got thinking about the state of baseball cards now, and conversely bigger ones like football, baseball, wrestling, just about anything. Like collector cards are insanely popular right now, and they're complete wackadoo to me. I cannot make heads or tails of them. I really can't. Especially sports cards, because the second this card is printed, especially the ones that are out now, the second those cards are printed, they're out of date. The stats are off. That might even be the team that the player plays on is out of date. Everything is a snapshot in time in regards to the player's life. Why? Why would you collect that then? What is the appeal? Because sports cards were never an appeal to me. And once I realized I had that thought that collecting sports cards was pointless, I was actually kind of ashamed of myself. Like, how dare I make that thought that it's kind of pointless? Because everything that I've ever been into in my life has been pointless. Insofar as the grand scheme of things, it's not so much the card, it's the feeling that you have and what they give you. And that, and to me, also has been sullied with something that happened shortly after this puzzle came out, is that the idea of collecting for profit really kind of grew up in the late 70s and continued on into the 80s, 90s, and now, where everything has a value. Everything has a dollar amount attached to it, as far as, oh, we can sell that for X amount of dollars. Even my youngest son, Janky Jr., in there, every time he gets his hands on a Pokemon card, the first thing he says is like, oh, this is worth X amount of dollars online. Is it? I don't know. But that's just what, that's just kind of how it was. I can remember as a little kid, things had value. Arbitrarily dollar amounts that things were put onto. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that also made me think about the stuff that in my mind I thought had value, but the real value is what I prescribe to it and what it means to me. As you can see behind me, again, this is just a small portion of what my puzzle enthusiasm this last year and a half has led to. Again, we got puzzles there and puzzles here and puzzles there, and I got puzzles in the house. It's not the dollar amount. Like this, actually, I saw this puzzle online and said it was rare. I'm like, is it? I don't know. I paid $1.50 for it in a thrift store. So, but it was important to somebody. But like I said, it made me think about the other interests that I've had over the years. And I'm actually going to share some of those with you right now. Because it wasn't just, this is the latest interest that I've been into, but over the years, I've been into a lot of different things. For instance, Funko Pops. Okay. I had several hundred of those when I first got out. When they first came out, I really enjoyed them. And sitting right over there is the last box of them that I have. I've been selling them off for pennies. Like, oh yeah, this could be worth a lot of money. I mean, this is actually a Baskin-Robbins exclusive Stranger Things pop vinyl. I don't know. I found it at Baskin-Robbins. But it's got to mean something to somebody. And at the time, pop vinyls were important to me. So was this. I'm going to line that up. That's funny. So, Captain America holding Mjolnir from Thor. I have a very close respect for Thor. He's one of my favorite MCU characters. It's like, oh, well, that's Captain America holding Mjolnir. Definitely need that. I got tons of them. They mean something, but it's not a matter of like, oh, it's worth a lot of money. Star Trek figures. If you knew me in high school, I was obsessed, absolutely obsessed with Star Trek. It was my life. I was really into my church, and I was really into Star Trek. This is a Riker figure. Okay. It's pretty much the last action figure of Star Trek that I have held on to. There's got a couple, but like a Riker figure. This used to be one part of a treasure collection of Star Trek stuff. It's just don't really have anymore. But at the time, it was worth something to me. Okay. Mystery Science Theater. I have a whole collection in there of the DVDs of Mystery Science Theater 3000. In fact, I've actually even done live, because I've done acting and theater stuff. During the pandemic, I did a few live shows where I riffed movies with, some of my friends, Mystery Science Theater style. I love it. I got to meet the guy that and created this, and it was one of my passions. Now, here's where this sports cards and the dumb crap that I'm into converged. One of the things that didn't really click with me was like, when I've said that cards, these don't really serve any purpose, they're out of date. Because to me, collector cards should serve a purpose. Like I mentioned, Pokemon cards, they have a picture that has stats. It's a game you can play. Even though you're collecting them because you think they're worth money, they serve a function. When I was talking about Star Trek, they made Star Trek, the next generation, Star Trek TNG, CCG, collectible card game. And this was my life. This was what I was heck into. And I got a few of these left. And again, I was way into them. So what am I getting at here is I had a blind spot on why collector cards, specifically sports cards, were important to people. Because I didn't understand the utility of them. Of like, why be into something that doesn't really serve a purpose? Well, they do serve a purpose because they mean something to the people that are into them. And that's more important than anything, because it means something to them. And the stuff that I've been into over the years, like, who the heck am I to judge of what people are into and what they find value in? I've mentioned before in a previous video that, my dad passed away in 93. But he was into postage stamps. And I was left with a gigantic box, well, not that gigantic, of postage stamps from all over the world. I can't make heads or tails of these, and I'm going to go through these later because I'm bound to come across a postage stamp puzzle. In fact, I do. Now that I think about it. So what people are into doesn't matter, and the dollar amount that are associated with that things doesn't matter. And building this and thinking about how people feel about their baseball cards and football cards, and even though I don't understand it and I'm not in that world, even though it's wackadoo and their pictures printed on little cardboard, like that's all they really are. Well, that's all this Star Trek stuff was. That's all these pop vinyls were, just little pieces of plastic. Action figures, DVDs of a janky old TV show that, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really mean much, but it means something to the people that are into. And this puzzle taught me that just because you're not into something, not because you don't have an emotional attachment to it, doesn't mean it's not important to somebody else. And that's my big takeaway from the baseball trivia puzzle from 1980 Nordevco. I think I'm saying that right. So thanks for tuning in. I'm sure you were expecting, when you're looking at the thumbnail, a baseball-themed episode. And tangentially, it was, but not like you were thinking. Sometimes things are worth more than what they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just my advice is to not think that everything that you're into is going to make you a millionaire in the future. Ask everybody that collected Beanie Babies. So thank you for tuning in. I had a lot of fun with this one. And yeah, do a busy puzzle. You'll really like it. So, a couple of announcements. It's not a branded piece of merch, but we are doing some handcrafted Janky Puzzles mementos that we're going to be selling. And It's actually really cute. And here is the prototype of it. Look at that. It's a little, it actually kind of looks like Cthulhu, but it's a little octopus. And he's got his little cozy cup. And in his hands will be puzzle pieces from a puzzle that I did on the series, on screen, that we will glue a couple pieces to his hands. And this is the official channel little mascot, this little octopus. And he's going to come in multi little colors and sizes. And if this is something that you might be interested in, please let me know. You can email us at jankypuzzles@gmail.com. If you follow our Janky Puzzles Facebook page, you can message me there. These are fun. These little, I'm going to make these little hand crocheted octopuses with their little coffee cup and with the couple puzzle pieces in his little hands. So help me name him, the little octopus from Janky Puzzles. Figured that was cool because they're sometimes building a puzzle you could use more than one hand if you're really interested in trying to get it done fast. So the Janky Puzzles octopus, if you think that that's something you might like to have in your world. We're going to sell these, and they're not going to be that expensive. And some of you guys are actually going to get them for free in the mail. I'll be reaching out to them because we've had a lot of cool people support the channel, and I want to make sure that they're thanked appropriately. So email me, DM me on Facebook, get yourself a Janky Puzzles octopus. Or Cthulhu, it looks the same, but colors are going to be all over the place. Thank you so much for watching today. We've got some really cool, got a 4-part series coming up. I'm actually doing a collab with another YouTube creator that's actually not puzzle related, but we're working on a cool project together, and can't wait for you to see that, some ASMR stuff. So thank you again for watching. Remember to do good things and be good people. Love what you're into. If it's what you like, love it, be all about it, but don't get over your head with a garage full of puzzles. Thank you so much. And remember to do things underneath this video. You know what I'm saying. Like and subscribe. That's what every creator asks you to do. But really, just let YouTube know that you like what we do and share our videos on your platforms. You guys are awesome. Thanks for watching. Come back next time and hey, we're going to put a puzzle together.